Let's go to the Midwest, up to Michigan. Mike is on line 6. Mike, you're on a Schnittless Schnitt show with JD.
Appreciate taking my call. I'm a Ron Paul advocate. I'm really confused on why a majority of these candidates up there on the stage say they're Reagan diehards. Reagan, in his first 5 years, had the worst unemployment rate, worst job loss, worst inflation. And besides George W., when this clown got into office, he blew all those records away. And I don't understand why Newt Gingrich is sitting there dogging Ron Paul when Ron Paul wants to audit the Federal Reserve, which is just a normal bank. It's not a national. It's not a country. It's not the country's bank. It's just a national bank.
He didn't dog on you. Did you hear the spot? What he said was that that Congressman Paul makes sense on the Federal Reserve, and that has been a good issue. Yeah. But basically he was saying, at least my hearing, he's overplaying his hand on foreign policy with a notion that, and whether this is true or not, they're lumping it together, saying that Paul and Paul's supporters believe 9/11 was an inside job and so forth and so on. Now, whether that is needless invective, that's one debate. But it is not.
I don't know if I would agree with that so much. I mean, if there's more than one person involved, then it's considered a conspiracy. We can both agree on that. Ron Paul, I'm sure even his advocate, diehard fans, such as myself, since 2008. He's the only presidential candidate. I'm 42 years old. I ever went on a website and actually looked at his background, his ideas. As far as this country goes, he's got the right path. His foreign policy, I think everybody can agree, is a little below average, maybe just poor. But I really believe that I don't think you have to pay your allies billions of dollars to be allies. I mean, I don't pay friends to be my friends.
And the fact is too that
the money's being invested overseas.
Sure, foreign aid, and he's right on that. As is, quite frankly, Rick Perry got an applause line, and those are two Texans who kind of have a rather active antipathy toward each other. But that's part of a campaign. No, Mike, listen, I appreciate your passion. Just one thing about Reagan: understand about an economy, you can't snap your fingers and have it done. You had to first put in place the tax cuts. It was a delayed time of about two to 2.5 years to actually get the supply side economics up and working. You can't just snap your fingers, but that is part and parcel for anyone trying to get
American presidential term. Now, the last 3 years of Reagan's two-term presidency, I will give him props, but I don't know why they do.
Well, let me just ask you this, and I don't know, maybe we're caught up, and it doesn't make any difference. But the alternative was Jimmy Carter. Do you think Carter was a better choice?
No.
Okay, all right, that's okay.
Right. I'm not agreeing with you.
Well, I tell you what, Mike.
I know you got a mess you got to clean up after his term.
Yeah.
But Reagan had a lot, and then George W. blew all those records away. I mean, Reagan, and a lot of people don't realize this either. I think Newt Gingrich was in his administration, correct?
Newt was elected to Congress in 1978, so he was part of the backbenchers, the young group, helping with Reaganomics. But obviously, he was Speaker in the 1990s when I got to Congress, and was there when I was named to the Ways and Means Committee. And we started cutting taxes, a very modest thing where we had to drag along Bill Clinton on some tightly targeted stuff. And then after Newt had left the Congress, when George W. Bush was president, in fact, after 9/11, we actually persuaded President Bush to do more profound tax rate reductions than he did in the initial package, which was somewhat modest.
Now, if I could have 30 seconds more, I'd love to go through, real quick, like Rick Perry, as far as candidate, he's got 300 of these cities, illegal cities, I guess you call them. You call them safe cities. There are illegal immigrants inside these cities on the border of Texas. 300 of these made-up cities. Okay, you have also, I don't know if you want to pick Romney Care. That's no better than Obamacare. Then you have Newt Gingrich, who's been in the Reagan administration, which you just went over, who, if you ask anybody in the U.S., they always say it's Nixon, but it's not. The only administration they had the most indictments, federal indictments out of American history was Reagan's, 219.
I got to go check your numbers
I wouldn't trust that guy. I mean, Newt Gingrich,
that's
I don't
cool.
trust.
Bottom line is,
come on,
I hear you, Mike. You are Ron Paul through and through, and I thank you for your time and your perspective. I really appreciate it.